There's something about getting older that no one really prepares you for. It's not the wrinkles or the slower steps. It's not the doctor's visits or the gray hair. No, those things are expected. What no one talks about, what often goes unspoken, is what it feels like inside. How quiet it can get. How strange it is to look around and realize that so much has changed, and that so much of it changed without your permission. No one tells you about the emptiness that can creep into the quiet moments. The way your days can stretch long, even when you're surrounded by people. The way the world, in many ways, begins to look past you, as if your chapter has already ended. But here's the truth. It hasn't. And this video, this space, is for that part of life. The part we don't talk about enough. The tender, aching, beautiful part of aging that holds just as much worth, meaning and power as any other time. Because you are still here. And that means there is still more for you. Aging is not just a physical process. It's emotional. It's spiritual. It's deeply personal. And yet, so much of it happens in silence. No one talks about how strange it feels to outlive some of the people who shaped you. No one prepares you for the ache of watching friends slowly disappear, not in one moment, but over years. Phone calls come less often. Familiar voices go quiet. You notice the empty chairs at gatherings. And yet, you're still here. Still waking up. Still learning how to make peace with things that will never be what they once were. Still holding on to memories that make you both smile and cry. No one talks about the way the world starts to speak around you instead of to you. As if your time has passed. As if your wisdom no longer applies. But it does. Your experience is irreplaceable. Your story is unmatched. Your presence matters more than you know. Sometimes the quiet you feel isn't loneliness. It's space. Space the world won't fill for you anymore. You must fill it with intention, with truth, with self. And that's the part no one talks about. That getting older requires an entirely new kind of courage. The courage to reintroduce yourself to who you are now. The courage to release identities that no longer serve you. The courage to find joy in things others might overlook. No one talks about the strange grief of letting go of who you used to be. The energy you used to have. The roles you used to fill. The way others once depended on you. You used to be the center of someone's world. Now you're often watching from the sidelines. And that transition is hard, but it also holds a quiet gift, the gift of rediscovery. This is the time to rediscover what brings you peace, what makes your soul feel alive, what kind of life you want to live, not for others, but for you. Because now you no longer have to prove yourself. You no longer have to rush. You no longer have to perform. You can become exactly who you were meant to be, at the pace your heart is ready for. No one talks about how beautiful that is. There's beauty in stillness, in reflection, in waking up slowly, drinking tea, watching the light change through the window. There's beauty in being able to say, "No, I don't want to go," and not feel guilty. There's beauty in holding a memory and allowing yourself to cry because it meant that much to you. You are allowed to miss the past. You are also allowed to love the present. And you are never too old to imagine the future. People forget that becoming older means becoming more honest with yourself, with others, with life. You say, "I love you" more freely. You forgive more quickly, not because people deserve it, but because you want peace. You learn to listen without fixing. You learn to rest without guilt. You learn that presence is more valuable than words. No one talks about the strength it takes to keep loving when your heart has been broken by loss, to keep showing up when your body feels tired, to keep hoping when the world feels dim. But that strength, it lives in you. You carry the strength of every version of yourself you've ever been. The young one who dreamed, the parent who sacrificed, the friend who stayed, the partner who endured, the soul who survived. You are still all of them, and yet you are becoming something new. No one talks about how spiritual aging can be, how you begin to sense things deeper, how you value silence more, how your connection to something greater than yourself, God, the universe, nature, meaning, feels stronger. You find yourself praying more, not always with words, sometimes with breath, with presence, with gratitude. You thank the sky, the sun, the rhythm of time. You begin to understand that the little things were never little. And one day, you realize, this season of life, it's not about decline, it's about depth. You are becoming deeper, more rooted, more aware, more at peace. No one talks about how soft aging can be, the way your anger falls away, the way your expectations lower, not in defeat, but in freedom. You let go of the need to control. You hold more loosely, you love more gently. You speak slower, you listen longer, you rest more fully. And maybe, just maybe, you begin to love yourself in a way you never could before. That's the part no one talks about. That getting older can also mean getting closer. Closer to truth, closer to joy, closer to your truest self. So if you've been feeling forgotten, let this remind you. You are not behind. You are not invisible. You are not finished. You are becoming something softer, wiser, stronger, and more beautiful than ever. And the world still needs what you carry. You are still here. And that means something. It means everything. And while the world may grow louder and faster, you've learned how to walk slower and notice more. You've learned that a rich life is not about what you accumulate, but about what you appreciate. You begin to savor what used to be rushed. A kind word, a cup of tea, the way morning light falls across your kitchen floor. You realize the most powerful moments don't come from achievement, but from alignment with yourself, with your values, with your soul. No one talks about how peaceful aging can become when you stop fighting to be who you were and instead embrace who you are now. There's wisdom in knowing what matters and what no longer does, in letting conversations be shorter, in letting silence speak louder, in letting go of proving, of explaining, of needing to be understood by everyone, because you understand yourself now. And that is a kind of peace only time can earn. You begin to find strength in stillness, comfort in routine, gratitude in imperfection. You know now that your value never lived in being busy, or being needed, or being perfect. Your value was always in your being. No one talks about how brave it is to wake up each day with an open heart after all you've seen, all you've lost, all you've endured. But let me say it clearly. It is brave, it is sacred, it is extraordinary. So breathe in this moment. Let it fill you. Let it remind you that you're doing something beautiful just by being here, alive, becoming, still. And if today feels quiet, let it be holy. If today feels slow, let it be sacred. If today feels tender, let it be enough. Because you are enough. And this part of life, the one no one talks about, might just be the part where you meet yourself most fully. Not as who you were, not as who others needed you to be, but as who you really are. And that is more than enough. You are still here. You are still becoming. And there is still so much life left to feel. There is still laughter waiting in places you haven't looked yet. Still stories left for you to tell. Still people who need what you have to give. Not your strength, not your wisdom, not your past, but your presence. Just you, as you are. There is still art inside you. Maybe it's not on a canvas or a stage, but in the way you make someone feel heard. In the way your silence holds others without judgment. In the way you bring comfort with a glance, or offer warmth with a few soft-spoken words. There is a sacredness to this time of life, a freedom you couldn't have known before. Because now you get to live for you. Not to impress, not to compete, not to achieve, but simply to be whole, to be grounded, to be awake to the moments right in front of you. You may not move like you used to. You may forget more things than you used to, but you feel deeper than ever. And you see more clearly than ever. Because now, you see with the eyes of someone who knows how fleeting this life really is. And that knowing is a gift. So let yourself be present. Let yourself enjoy the small things. Let yourself release what doesn't matter. Let yourself grieve when you need to. Let yourself be proud of the journey that brought you here. Because it wasn't easy. You've walked through losses that changed you. You've survived seasons you never thought you'd get through. And you did it with less recognition than you deserved, with less support than you needed, but you kept going. And that, in itself, is remarkable. No one talks about how many quiet miracles it takes to grow older. The mornings you got out of bed when your heart felt heavy. The moments you kept showing up when your spirit was tired. The days you held your own hand through something no one else saw. Those moments count. They shape you. They define you. They are your becoming. So take pride in your quiet strength. Honor the grace it took to hold on. And remember, the world may not always see it, but you know. You know what it cost to be here. And you know how deeply you've earned your peace. You are still becoming, and you always will be.